Hi, Easter week, and I suddenly remembered I have some beautiful pans, Easter egg pans for cakes. So I thought I would get them out and do something. So very, very, very lucky to have these. Look at those. One of the girls in the team, Helen, was helping clear out her elderly neighbour's house after the neighbour had died, unfortunately, and found heaps and heaps and heaps of tins. So she very kindly wanted to see if any of the team wanted some, and we gave her a bit of money for them, but I'm sure they were worth a lot more than what we paid. But I got 3 Christmas ones, one with flowers, and then these beautiful eggs. So what I've done is I have greased them, and I'm making a chocolate cake, so I have dusted them with cocoa. I might need to just do another bit of a bash on the tin to make sure I've got as much cocoa out as possible. But had a chat with a friend who works in Williams Sonoma, and this is actually Williams Sonoma tin, but a very old one, brand new but old. And she suggested that, because it just said wash in hot soapy water, didn't say anything more than that. And I thought, no, it's got to be greased. But she gave me some advice, greased it, and dusted with cocoa, but I do have to knock a bit more out, I think. Anyway, we will see how we go. I've done my best with that. So she also suggested I make a cake that's not too runny, because it should work better. So I'm making the chocolate hazelnut cake, a simple chocolate hazelnut cake, which is Louise Keats' recipe. She is Margaret Fulton's granddaughter, even though Margaret Fulton is no longer alive. Got a story about that though, because we went and had dinner cooked by Margaret Fulton for my mother-in-law, who is now 96 and a half, for her 80th birthday, I think it was. All right, let's get on with the recipe. Preheat my oven to 160. Haven't done, we'll quickly do. Okay. It says grease and line around cake tin, but obviously I'm making the Easter egg shapes. 200 grams of raw hazelnuts, lid off, tear, skin on. Just recently got from the source. Okay. We're going to mill all those. They are going to be the flour. So it is obviously a gluten-free recipe. I have cocoa everywhere in my kitchen. All right, transfer into a bowl and set aside. So there we are. They're my beautiful hazelnuts. Obviously, skin on. I guess if you wanted to, you could roast them and take the skins off. A slightly different flavour, but I ask you to do that. So all that out into here. Okay. $200 grams of dark chocolate chips broken to pieces. I did eat through. Well, it's slightly under. Chopping that for 20 seconds, speed 8. I think that's fine. That was obviously, you know, I had chopped chips, chopped bits, not chocolate that you had to break up. So that is fine. Just scrape down the sides. I'm very excited about these things. I hope they turn out all right. So there's a chocolate. 150 grams of butter cut into pieces. And that's going to just all melt and mix up together for 2 minutes 30. So the other cakes I've thought about is Health by Chocolate. I just can't remember
think it's a bit runny, but anyway, I will give it to dough with the hazelnut ones. I've done Health by Chocolate on YouTube already, so I didn't really need to show you that again. I wanted to show you something different, and these beautiful cakes. So the difficult thing with these, or the awkward thing, is they've got big indentations, so a little bit hard to see. You've got to try and make sure that you get that greased and floured, but you don't leave a heap of cocoa in there, because otherwise it's going to block up the pattern. So these are the patterns that we're going to see on the other side, hopefully, when it's all done. And then just with care of the tin, it just says wash in hot soapy water. Obviously, don't use anything abrasive on it. Probably just a soft cloth. And I'm looking forward to this being a new Easter tradition. I need now some grandchildren. Number one daughter will appreciate it, I'm sure, because she's a shopaholic. So I will make some. We're going to stick them on Wednesday night. Take some for her, because we're going back up there on Easter Saturday. But I won't have time to make it before that, because on Friday we're actually going to French Island, which is not in Victoria, or you don't know much about Victoria. It's an island in the middle of Western Port Bay. And just wanted, we're going with two other couples, and one said, our overseas holiday. We do have to get a ferry to go to French Island. You cannot get there any other way. There is no bridge. I think it's off grid, and we've got just literally one night there, full day on the Friday, full day on the Saturday, and fingers crossed it's not as wet as the weather says it's going to be. But so basically I didn't have time to make these cakes to take for Easter. I wonder if I can make some to take to French Island. I might be using this tin several times a day for the next few days. I was thinking about work. I was thinking about taking some to friends. Yeah, anyway, we will see how it all turns out, and hopefully it does turn out all right. We have 17 seconds left to go on this. I'm just going to have a peep inside and see what it's looking like. Oh, yeah, that's looking good. Preview, brown sugar. Brown sugar. Now it says 150 grams of brown sugar. I don't know about you, but I find that most Thermomix cakes are a little bit heavy on the sugar, so I always cut it down. Here's my melted chocolate. There's a couple of little bits of butter in there, but they'll be fine. So I'm going to cut the sugar down by a third. If you go anything more than that, you can actually ruin the consistency of the cake. So you've got to be a little bit of a balance. I'm just going to grab a bigger spoon. Here we go. So I'm going to do 100 grams of sugar. There we go, a little bit over 100. Half a teaspoon of baking powder. Five eggs. So these are the eggs that I buy, and it'd be lovely to get them, you know, free range from a farm rather than the supermarket. But these are 1,500 hens per hectare, so that's pretty good. And I am going to break them before I put them in. My mother taught me well. Break them before you put them into your mixture, so you don't waste the mixture. And I have actually got a few eggshells saved up from stuff I did on the weekend. And what I'm going to do is blitz them all up. They are great on your plants, bit of calcium for the garden. The other way you can do it is if you're also using lemon, keep the lemon carcass if you're just using the juice, and blitz them up in your Thermomix. It's a really, really good way to make your bowl smell nice, clean your blades, all that sort of stuff. So counting 4. 4. Okay, and last one. Excuse my phone going off in the background. All right, 5 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now I've got some vanilla beans on the way, or ordered some. And so I'll be making my own vanilla extract. I was actually looking at costings, and you know, one of the things that you can save so much money on is making your own vanilla extract. So that's what prompted me to order some. Reserve nuts going in. Just going to go and turn that off. This has got to go for 10 seconds on speed 4. It's sloshing around in there. Break down the sides. Oh, it's a bit runnier than I thought. Oh well, I'll give them a go. I've got a recipe which was I actually did at school, and we used school's a long time ago for me. We've used it, and it is called Mummy's chocolate cake. So I might actually do that for some other ones. It's got flour in it rather than nuts. Okay. Right, so I'm going to pour it in. You see, it's more liquidy than I was hoping, more liquid. Anyway, so I haven't made them for a while. Going into these beautiful tins. The lady I was talking to, who's from Williams Sonoma, said, "Oh, you could stick them together." Which you absolutely could, but I'm thinking, who could put their mouth around 2 of these together? I certainly couldn't. All right, I've got to fill them up. They might. Oh no, maybe I won't. All right, so there they are. They are going to go into the oven for 40. Well, it says 45 to 50 minutes, but honestly, I'm just going to. Actually, I think they're looking pretty good. If you have a look at this, it's almost as if they're being held away from this. So I'm hoping that's a good thing that they're going to turn out nicely. Anyway, I'll keep an eye on them. I will poke they won't take 45 minutes because they're obviously a smaller tin than a whole big tin. And I will post some photos when I post this. Bit excited.